hugs both animal and humans. She is someone who could have been maybe in a yacht somewhere or in a beachfront somewhere. You better don't play with her. She's not in a good mood. This sister could have been living comfortably. This sister could have been doing a lot of other things because of who she is. She could have been teaching anywhere she chose to, as she was. She's taught up and down the west coast of Africa. She could have been living the good life, but she decided to go back to her homeland to work with the poor, struggling people, and sacrificing her life, literally. And there aren't too many Bayyinahs around, in that not only is she back there, not only is she there working with the people, but most of all, she's working against the forces that are working against her people, primarily the United States Army, plus its local tools. And, you know, when someone takes a stand like that, we have to commend him. That's why you see we are so upset that more people aren't here to share this sister here today. And, you know, she has been consistent in that she is one of those warrior sisters, and there aren't very few around. And we can only commend her, we can only surround her, we can only strengthen her. But we don't have enough bodies to do this. So, going with the few we have, we know that the few we have here are down with her, and maybe we can take her to the next level. And yeah, okay, well, on the 7th of October, you can show your love. We'll have to pass around these flyers, so the absent ones who aren't here will show up at the mansion on the 7th. Thank you, my brother. And you will have to apologize. That doesn't include us here. I think we will be we may be in our good books, but we may not be high up on our hit list. So with the few of us here, I'll just ask you to give her a warm revolutionary welcome. Our sister Bayyinah Bello.
In the names of the ancestors from whom we draw our inspiration, guidance, and strength, namely Isis, Oshun, Ogu, Ezuli, Nzinga, Toya, Nat Turner, Dessalines, we greet you in Haitian traditional terms, One, Respect. In the name of resisting people of Haiti and the world, we greet you in the battle cry of the many, liberty or death. We thank African Echoes for inviting us to speak this evening. And as we discovered, our theme is fulfilling Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King prophecy. We thank you for being here. Unlike what Brother Inuni, I understand what he feels, but I really don't care about those who are not here. The important thing is you who are here. So let me invite you to come a little closer So what comes out of me may be more what you need to know, what you need to hear. I thank you for the honor of allowing me to speak for you, what you want to know from yourself. Because ultimately, that is all that matters. It doesn't make any difference how many people stand up and clap for you. It makes no difference how many television program or radio program that you go on, what kind of a big star or big whatever you are. Because what is important is, are you yourself? And are you doing what your mission is? We want to know, how does a sister from Haiti going to talk about fulfilling Martin Luther King's dream? Which dream was this? Little white children and little black children, hands in hands? Do you think this may be the dream that I'm going to talk about this evening? No. That dream is not in me. And I don't know of anybody who has this dream. And what is the dream? Well, it is a dream that is not often mentioned. But maybe it was just a mistake, but one day he said that he believed that one day a very small country somewhere insignificant would rise up and crush the United States of America. That is the dream I have in common with King. I come from a very small, insignificant country, trodden down, baffled by every so-called nation friend, sister nation, brother country, whatever it is they call themselves, baffled by so-called international community, baffled finally through education, through miseducation, through conditioning, baffled by ourselves, fooled and trampled by ourselves, because we have been trained to do this. But we must know, what is this country? We must know what is the purpose. A nation is what? A nation is a group of families that come together. They have past experience together, common past experience, and they establish a common objective. When you have past experience, which give you culture together, and you establish an objective to work towards, then you become a nation. And if we go back to the time where they were creating this country, Haiti, and please call it by its name, Haiti, not anything that you hear other people calling it. Thank you. This is a land that the founders sat down and decided would be the refuge for all black people throughout the world. It's not whatever little group is living on it. It's not the possession, the propriety of the little group that is there now. But their vision was, we're going to create this space here as a place where any black person running from any kind of oppressing havoc, oppressing chaos, they can come here. And instantly, any black person who set foot on this land becomes automatically free and a citizen. They went further. They said, anyone freeing slavery who comes to Haiti will be free. But if you're black, you are free and a citizen. Now that is the mission of this country. So Haiti does not mean this small geographical space there. It means everywhere black people can create a space that is a refuge for other black, then that person is in Haiti. Haiti is, as far as I know, the only island in the Caribbean that has its original name. Even though the criminals coming from Europe, arriving on the island of Haiti, that's the name of the entire island. That's what the Arawak people called it. And this for thousands of years before the criminals arrived from Europe. And when they arrive, they find the people there. It is estimated there were between 2 and 3.5 million Arawaks on the island in 1492. 11 years later, it was estimated less than 100,000 people were living on this island. A little before this estimate, as they noticed that the people were just dropping off like flies, the Europeans went to Jamaica, collected a portion of the population there, brought them to Haiti to dig for gold for them. And that population disappeared too. They went to Puerto Rico and brought boatloads of Arawak and Tainos and Caribs. And that population disappeared too in Haiti. And then, and only then, did the white man, we are told, the good father Las Casas, being so kind, he felt now that they're practically all dead, we shouldn't kill them all off completely. Obviously, they're not strong enough for this labor we want them to do. We should go to Africa and get some big, strong black folks. Bring them here to do this job, to work for us for nothing. This was a very pure father, Las Casas, a very humanitarian man who owned big plantations in Cuba and in Puerto Rico. And in the name of Jesus, he sent for boatloads of our brothers and sisters in Africa to travel the entire ocean, all these many miles, to come here and work so somebody else will get rich. Now, we are told this whole process is supposed to be a civilizing process. We are told the Arawaks were savages. We are told, in some cases they even say they were, what's the word they like to say when you eat people? No, cannibals. Cannibals. They were cannibals. But you know, these Arawaks were living there for thousands of years and multiplying. 3.5 million people eliminated in less than 11 years. A few Europeans came. The Europeans were never more than a few thousand on the island. If we had 3.5 million cannibals on an island, and a few thousand Europeans came, and after 11 years, the cannibals were all dead, and the civilizers were still there. Is there something wrong with this information? Something very wrong. Very, very wrong there. Yes, we have a dream. Yes, we have a firm conviction. For our study of history of Ourstory has taught us. Nations always rise and become extremely so-called powerful. Once upon a time, England used to say, the sun never set. Can they say this today? Once upon a time, France said a lot of things. Once upon a time, Rome said a lot of things. But every single time, some small, insignificant nation rises and places that monster in its place. And I am certain the same, we will see that same thing. We have seen Russia disintegrate, or USSR, but there was a lot of propping. So a lot of us didn't even understand what really went down. And since it was like family affairs, things were arranged in such a way that you and I couldn't really see what happened. And then you know how it goes in the family. Even if I fight with you, we battle, I crush you down, then I help you get up too when we go in front of other people. So it's very difficult for people to really know what went down inside the room. But that's nothing. They think they did the big crushing for this period, but that's nothing. The best is yet to come. We, as a people, have to work seriously. The first war has to be the war on self. You and me and him and she and her and him need to know the white man is living inside of you. He is in your mind. With every book you studied in school, he snuffed inside the tiniest little crawl, this little fit in your head. And I don't know, maybe he has even entered our soul. We need to investigate. But we have a mission. The first mission, before you and I can get together, you need to get together with yourself, armed as you can get, with the best weapon, the highest, most up to the point technology weapon, and go out and get this white man out of your brain. And I have got to do the same thing before you and I can get together. We don't need to lament about those who are not here. Those who are not here are not ready to be here. Those who are not here could be troubled by what we have to say today. We don't know what it is, but whatever it is, we know that it is for those who are here. And the important thing is concentrate, you, who are present. Concentrate on grasping the essence on what will be given to you so you can go out and have that first battle with which each one of us must have in order for us to come together. We must go out and face ourselves. Look in the mirror. Tell yourself the truth. Don't tell yourself no lies. Without the truth, we're not going anywhere. Yes, Haiti's mission is to create a land, a space where all black people who are in trouble anywhere in the world can come in and find refuge. So when you understand that, you also understand why any nation with this kind of mission in this white supremacy world that we're living in will be, must be, continuously under attack from every corner. That's normal. That's natural. And it is insane if you are an Haitian to make believe or to tell yourself that you're gonna go to your country and build a nice home and enjoy the sea on Sunday and, you know, have a little fun, relax. I'm sorry. You should find another place where you should go do this. You cannot come and do this here. Because this here place is the center of the biggest war happening in this world. Because it does not have any one enemy. It has white supremacy as an enemy. And they are not asleep. They know, even if they kiss up with you, even if they sleep with you, they have identified you as their enemy and they're gonna go after you. If they're kissing up on you, it means that you are in a position where they don't feel they can attack you openly now. If they're feeding you, you should know there's a lot of possibility that this food is poison. If you're drinking from them, you should know that there are great possibilities that there is something in this drink for you. But more than this, if we take a little look at the Constitution of this country, the first Constitution, the only valid Constitution, Constitution of 1805, states clearly this land is the land for all black folks. States clearly any black person landing here becomes automatically free and a citizen. States clearly no white man has the right to buy property here or work as master on this land.
That's real land.
Clearly. And this law, and now when you learn that Haiti is actually on its, I think we were at Constitution 38 or 39, I don't know how many constitutions we have since the Constitution of 1805. If you understand, and of course in most books, you will not find a copy of the Constitution of 1805. They will begin with the Constitution of 1807. Even though they will have the Constitution of 1801, which is before Haiti's independence. But most people can never find a copy of 1805. But if you understand the mission of this country, then you also understand why this Constitution cannot be this readily available. With every Constitution, they removed the mission of the country little by little. And the very last thing to fall out was the article on white man cannot buy land or work as master on this land. And it was removed in 1915 during U.S. occupation.
Yes, ma'am. Tell them who your enemy is.
And the Marines encircled the parliament at that time, when they wanted to have this law removed from the books, they had already been manipulating several weeks already. Several new laws came in, removing this one, removing that one. But when they got to this law about white men, even this parliament, which agreed with almost anything the US asked. The US asked to turn left, everybody turned left. Turn right, everybody turned right. But when they said we must remove this article, every parliamentary person said, not me, I don't want to be involved with this. I'm not here. So the US Marines encircled the Parliament House, arrested all the Parliament folks, wrote the new decree to remove this law from the books, and passed it.
Democratically.
Democratically, thank you. Okay. All right. So, why? People will tell you many things. I'm sure there are books on tops of books you will read as to why, the economic reasons why they had to occupy Haiti. Oh, no. The trouble, so much coup d'etats and too many killings of officials and too much trouble in the country. That's why the US had to occupy Haiti. But here's what the US did. When they came in the first time, they occupied Haiti. First, they changed all the worthwhile laws from the books. I'm sorry, that wasn't first. The very first thing was, Haiti was the only country at that time who did not have their money backed in the Americas, backed by the dollar. Our money was backed by gold. Our entire reserve, gold reserve, was taken away for safekeeping, we were told, and brought to Fort Knox. It has yet to return home. This was 1915. When somebody asks you, why is there so much poverty? When some white person says, oh, I want to go help the poor people in Haiti, so I'm going to bring a little bread and a little water for them. Ask them, why don't you just ask your government to give them back their gold? Right. Yes. So, we're looking at a country that has set a model for black countries. The only country who had a constitution which was in accord with what the purpose of the people. We cannot have black people enslaved or colonized, and then when we're free we say, oh, our colonizers are our best friends. They teach us the laws we should have in the books. We're going to take their books to have the schools. We're going to take their doctors to come and build our hospitals. Why the hell then why don't you just stay in slavery or stay in colonization? We have an example, Nigeria, very important country, 110 million people strong, powerful land, variety in climate. Nigeria has everything to win as a black country. When Nigeria was becoming, and the crackers really didn't want to give Nigeria up. They did not. Because Nigeria was too much wealth, too much of everything. And it had a very dynamic personality, the people of Nigeria. Well, when you read the Constitution of Nigeria, you can hardly tell this is a black nation. But furthermore, the accompanying agreements, Nigerians agreed to live in the hands of England. The educational system, the justice system, the finance system, and the resources. So here we are independent. Here's how it went in Nigeria. We're independent. Hooray! Independence! Wonderful. But England will determine what you do as far as education is concerned, will determine how money is spent and for what, will determine how resources are used, and will determine justice for the next 15 to 20 years. Is that independence? All right. So, Haiti, if you're looking for one country, one black country, coming out of slavery or colonization, that actually had what you call independence, you will not find two examples. Not even Ghana. Ghana is the closest. Ghana had pretty good documents in what they set up. Guinea tried. Paid very dearly for trying. Okay? So, tell me, here we are. I'm a slave master. You're my slaves. I spent 100 years beating up on you, your grandmama, your great-grandmama, making you work for nothing for me. Centuries after centuries. And then one day independence must come. I said, okay, fine, let's have independence. Let's sit down and talk about it. Here's how your independence gonna go, okay? Let me tell you. And now, independence is signed, we all happy, we shake hands. How sweet. All the land that I took from your family remains my land, of course. And now you out in the streets begging. You know what I'm gonna say? Look at this bum. What is wrong with him? These black folks can't do nothing for themselves. Here we am begging, begging, always begging. And we are so stupid. We won't even say, yeah, I'm begging because you stole my land. I'm begging because you killed my mother. I'm begging because you slaughtered my grandmother. I'm begging because you raped my sisters. That's why I'm begging. We're going to say, no, white man, you got to help us. Yeah, we're really in bad shape. You know why you can't give him the center? You went to school, I hear. Your mama swept by the roadside, selling mangoes to send you to school, to send you to the best schools. Like my mother. My mother was living in a room, one room, saving every penny she made to send me to a school called Collège International Montpellier. After I finished secondary school, I had no idea. Hey, my mama said she's sending me to school. I went to school. But when I got to the school, you know what they taught in that school? They teach you how to drink whiskey, how to drink vodka, how to ride horses, how to play card games. And see, this is a school, of course she didn't know. To her it was a great school because it was in France, and in France everything you learn is good for you. This is a school that children of barons and queens and whatever, who don't have any brains, who don't have anything to do, all they have to do is go and learn how to walk fancy, speak fancy, and drink up a storm without ever looking drunk. It's sad, but it's true. I spent a year, and there was no way I could explain to my mother, this here, where you sent me, I don't belong here. Anyway, to make a long story short, I went, did my year. At the end of the year, I have a diploma. Hey, I know how to drink vodka real good. I know how to dress up. I was forced to press my hair. I think it was 3 times a week I was supposed to press my hair because I was never supposed to have a kink anywhere. I must not be myself, you know. My hair was always to be pulled in a silky, slinky little whatever it was. Okay, I did it all until the last day. When the notes were all posted, I wash my hair with a lot of pleasure. And I blow it all out, something like tonight. Probably it was much bigger because it was longer then. And I put an African outfit. Without lying, one of my teachers went to the hospital with an infarctus. And the man kept saying on the hospital bed, "It is impossible. She was my best teacher. I invested so much in her. She can't revert like this." They worked hard to turn me into a white woman. It just didn't take. I was bad earth, bad soil. But I'm only telling you this because many of you are going to school. If you're not, you have a child that you're sending to school. You have a niece, you have a cousin that's going to school. A book written by a colonizer, a racist pig. Do you think that this can help your child grow? Am I saying you should not go to school? No. What is the difference between medicine and poison? What's the difference between the poison and the medicine? A matter of degree. Thank you, brother. It's the same thing. There is no difference. Every medicine is poison. It will kill you if that's what the doctor tells you. Take 1 teaspoon every 5 hours or every 8 hours. If you decide, hey, this pain is too much, let me take 5 teaspoons, what will happen to you? Right? Yes. Every medicine is poison. When you go to school, you have to think in terms, this is the poison you've got to have. But you have to measure how much of it, when you should take it, and sometimes maybe you just may have to say, hey, forget it. But that's a fact you need to know. Every time you sit in front of the television, somebody's working on you. Someone is working to change you from a black person who knows who they are and want to be themselves to something that wants to be anything other than what it is. When you take the New York Times to read, you think you're getting information? You are reading approved truth. Truth approved for general consumption. That's what you're getting. Has nothing to do with truth. It has nothing to do with reality. We have right now the island of Montserrat, which is 1/3 covered by the ashes of a volcano. Is there a big boo-hoo in all the television programs, all the television stations, right? No. It's a bunch of black folks. Who cares? And funny thing is, this week we have Italy. A little earthquake shook and killed 4 people. There isn't one station who didn't give it. Not one. In Haiti, people are dying every day. All kinds of reasons, all kinds of situations. But that's not the problem. When the big, gory, bloody stuff arrives, that's when it's interesting. In seconds, we have thousands of journalists from all over the world in the country. When it's big and bright, you know. But never they will touch the reality of what's happening. They'll give you their version, their interpretation, and they will give it to you in a way, in degrees, that will make you feel these Haitians are a bunch of fools. These people always have a problem. And that's the same way they give us information about you. That's true. Most Haitians don't like black Americans. That's a fact. I'm not going to lie about it. We don't like you because the only information we have about you is what your enemy and ours tell us about you. And you don't like Haitians either. Because you have the same information from the same source about us. When was the last time the New York Times told you anything about Toussaint Louverture? When did the New York Times talk about Jean-Jacques Dessalines? When did you ever hear about what is the mission of this country? They even have us clap to be occupied in 1994. Yes, I stood up against the coup in Haiti. Yes, I stood up for the return of the will of the people in Haiti. Because at the time, yes, Aristide won by 70% of the votes. He is the choice of the people, so he should go back. But when I'm told, okay, he's going back with military occupation, I said, no, that's too expensive. This price, not for me. Most of my comrades were against me. But that's not their fault. Lack of vision, lack of knowledge of Ourstorian, lack of understanding. What does military occupation mean in any country? I don't care where. That is not the problem. Military occupation means prostitution will rise up out of the street into the best families, number one. Because General so-and-so and Colonel so-and-so from the U.S. Army is not going to go in the street and pay $2. No. And he's got to have a prostitute. He's going to go in your home, my home, take my sister. Number two, the cost of living must rise at least 15%. That's a fact, whether you want it or not. Any place where there have been occupation, those are the two first results of any occupation. Yes, ma'am. So before, 5 gourds for $1. Today, 17, 18, 19, 20 gourds for $1. You know how many people cannot eat in this country? 70% of the population is not working. The World Bank says, oh, to make things better, we have a good plan for you. Things are going to get real good, real fast. First, the public workers must be reduced by half. A study proved that every working Haitian feeds at least 7 people. And we only 30% of the population, the working population, is working. Now when you're going to reduce it to 15% of the population, how many people are we each going to feed? And then what happens to the ones who don't have somebody working to feed them? In 1946, Haiti imported nothing of what it needed to survive on a day-to-day basis. In 1960, Haiti did not import its food. Since 1970, there is progress, I think they call it. We start importing things. And today, 1997, Haiti imports even lemon, even plantain, even corn. And don't forget, we are buying it with 20 goods for $1. But remember, Haiti is nothing but an example. It's nothing. Whatever we say about Haiti, we could say it about Zaire, we could say it about Nigeria, we could say it about Togo, we could say it about Ghana, we could say it about Guinea, we could say it all over wherever our people are. And that's why we must make it our business. If we say we're serious about growing, if we say we're serious about going to war, you have to know what's happening in every part of your world. Don't sit here, I'm a black American, I'm living in Newark, New Jersey. Well, New York, I have no problem in Newark, New Jersey, we're okay. We have a nice mayor. No, we've got to become involved. Because whatever they're doing to us in Haiti, whatever they did in Zaire, in Lomé, in Ghana, it's coming to you, brother. It's coming your way, if it's not already there. Whatever they do to you, they're coming with us, to us with it. Whatever they do to us, they're coming to you with it. In 1960, Haitians did not know what drug was. 1970, if you say marijuana to somebody in Haiti, what you talking about? Cocaine? Today we have a large drug population since the occupation. Yes. Another wonderful thing that the United States of America does, it's cleaning out its jail populations, we're told. So for the past 3 years, every American Airlines that land in Port-au-Prince has 4 or 5 handcuffed men in the back. These are supposedly Haitians. Nobody checked their papers, nobody really knows. But what is certain, they are hardcore criminals. The US has a program. If you've been in jail 10 years, or you've gone to jail so many times, the next time they arrest you for hardcore crimes, instead of giving you life imprisonment, they can take you back to your country, supposedly. And this without saying anything to the government. You get to the airport, they take off the handcuffs, and you're in the streets. The American Airlines land every day in Haiti at least 3 times a day. And every day it brings a load. And then they say, oh, there is insecurity in the country. We wonder how come. Until 1985, I lived home in a house where I did not have the key to the front door. Even when I went on vacation, I didn't lock the door. I just pulled it. Today, I wouldn't dare. But to solve all of this, first element, we must know what's happening. Because if you don't know, you cannot resolve a problem that you have not identified. Number 2, you must get yourself together. Don't look at Zaid and say, well, here's what's wrong with Zaid. Forget it. Bayyinah has to look at Bayyinah. Look at what's wrong with Bayyinah and decide how to cure and clean Bayyinah. Zaid has to take a good look at Zaid, clean up Zaid, and cure Zaid. And when Bayyinah is clean, Zaid is clean, Bayyinah and Zaid can have a program together.
Thank you. Yes.
all humans, Africans maybe more than others, know that we do not live by flesh alone. Yeah, I hear there are people who say they are atheists. They don't believe in God. They don't believe in spirits. Atheist, thank you. They don't believe in spirits. They don't believe in any force other than man. Possible. But what I know is all Africans, all, from every corner of the continent, all of the people with high melanin content, they all believe in what we don't see, in non-matter existence. So, I cannot speak and not come to the spirituality of things. In Haiti, a discipline was established. A set of a belief system was established. Created from Ifa, from the motherland, our expression of the divine, of the unseen, is called Vodouvi. Vodouvi is how we view the universe, how we view the interaction between matter and non-matter. Nothing is free from non-matter, from spirit. In Vodouvi, each person have their spirit. As a group, we have a spirit, all of us together. As a nation, we have a spirit. The tree has a spirit. The cat has a spirit. And Vodouvi teaches that if I really want to understand what's going on around me, what's going on in the world where I'm at, I must understand the spirit of things. I cannot just know matter of things. And Vodouvi gave us a multitude of principles for understanding. As I told you, everything has a... If the black man, there's a spirit of the black man. There's the spirit of the African man. There's the spirit of the white man. Whether he knows it or not, he's got one. Now, when the first black woman was raped by the first white man, and they brought into this world somebody called a mulatto, do you think this person has another spirit? Of course. With every new matter that comes to be, a new spirit comes to be. The television is a machine. The camera is a machine. But the camera has a spirit. And the best cameraman is the one who understands the mechanical workings of this machine and the spirit of this machine. So if we really want to get to work, we not only need to know ourselves, the truth about ourselves in the flesh, we need to know the truth about our own spirit. So we can tell, in fact, if you don't get into your spirit, how will you be able to kill this white man that's hiding in front of you without killing yourself? He and you are mingled in like this. If you're gonna go get him, there's a large chance that you will kill yourself when you shoot at him, unless you know your spirit. And our people in Haiti have devised a system that allows us to understand the spirit of humans. And this understanding of spirits of humans, if we all knew it and applied it, it will make interaction between us so much easier. My brother Zaid over there, from having observed him a number of years, I know he's a Ogun. There's no doubt about it. My brother Inuni over here is a Legba. Now, if there is a position or there is something going on in this group, we all in a group, if Zaid knows who he is and Inuni knows who he is, they will never contest the same position. By knowing what their vital force, life force is, they know that certain things, they don't need to be there. They know that there is a time for them. They just have to let everybody be who they are and accomplish their mission. I'm going to try to make it a little clearer for you. Everybody here is familiar with Toussaint Louverture? Okay. Toussaint Louverture is a black man who largely contributed to the independence of Haiti, but he did not see independence. Freed himself as a slave. He was a slave for a time, and he was named by the white man François Dominique Breda. François means a thing belonging or having quality of French. Okay, a French thing, French possession, French quality. Dominique means somebody born on a Sunday. Breda is the name of the plantation where he was born. Every slave on that plantation signed Breda. Okay, so his name, François Dominique Breda. As this man started to implicate himself in the struggle for revolution, he got rid of the François. The Dominique fell off almost by itself. And people started calling him, as his godfather used to call him secretly, Toussaint. He was called Toussaint because his godfather, who's a man who came to Haiti as an adult, an African, and as an African, Africans like to name people according to the day you were born. And he's born on November 1st, which is the day of All Saints. So Toussaint means All Saints, okay? So his godfather secretly always called him that. Later, when he started to affirm himself as a revolutionary, he said to people, hey, don't call me this François business. Hey, call me like my godfather calls me, Toussaint. Fine. As he became military implicated, and people start noticing that whenever they are trapped somewhere, and Toussaint is there, he always finds a way to open the way and get out of the trap. So then people start calling him l'ouverture, which means the opener, the one who opens the way. So Toussaint l'ouverture. This man paved the road to independence. But before independence, he was captured by the French, taken to France, locked up in a jail, opened up a hole in the ceiling for snow to come in and eat him away. He died of gangrene. After Toussaint, Jean-Jacques Dessalines took the lead of the movement. And Dessalines took things all the way to the Declaration of Independence, January 1st, 1804. But when you study these two people, when you study them spiritually, Toussaint, not only by his name, both these names, is a Legba. What is a Legba? Legba is the spirit, the opening, the initiator of all things. He opens the way for people. He allows somebody to get to where they ought to be. If you take the Bible, Moses is a Legba. He opens the way for people to get somewhere, but Legba never gets there. Legba must not be attached. Legba is the door. He creates the opening for you. You go in. He stays there to create another opening for somebody else. he doesn't go. Toussaint did not see independence. Toussaint was followed, as I said, by Jean-Jacques Dessalines, who is an Ogun. Ogun is the spirit of the one who eliminates obstacles after an objective is set. Be careful. An Ogun is a very wicked thing if there is no objective. You have to have your objective set, and then the role of Ogun is clear, and Ogun will give you a fine job. It will get you to the objective. So, depending on what circumstances we're in and what our objective is, Zaid and Inuni cannot want the same position. Two very different nature, two very different spirit. But when Zaid don't know who he is, and Inuni does not know who he is, what happens? It's easy for them to fight for the same position because they do not know who they are. They are not in touch with their true self, the vital force that makes them be. And that's why it's important for us to get into the spirituality, our own. Vodou is not, you see, in Africa, I hate to talk about religion. Be careful. Religion is a business in which they sell gods. And this business works very well for whoever sets up the shop. Okay? Now, when we're talking about Vodou, we're not talking about a religion. We're talking about understanding your profound nature so you can be and live as who you are. Nobody can come and tell you, well, hey, you want something? I'm going to see that, well, give me $5,000, now I'm going to call God up there and, tell him. No. And this is something that sometimes I found so sad, that we have a lot of people who claim to be Hungan and practicing Vodou, and they're doing the same business as the Catholics, and they're trying to turn it into a religion. In fact, something horrible is happening at home right now. A lot of Hungan today are starting to dress in the robes, the big white robe or black robe the priests used to wear, that they're not wearing anymore. Now the Hungans at home are wearing them with a big cross on their stomach. They're giving up the asson, a thing they used to shake. They're now taking the cloche, the bell. Ding, 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 ding. If you go certain ceremonies today, you go to them and you think you're in church. Anyway, today a lot of them start with, "Our Father who art in heaven." Yes. And that is sad. That is out of nature, out of themselves. Spirituality, nobody can teach it to you. You need to get the fundamentals of any books, any spiritual system. You can get the fundamentals and then look at inside of you and then determine how you are going to use the fundamental principles to improve your life. But nobody can tell you, you must pray every Friday, you must do this every Saturday, you must do that every Sunday. No, because what is good for you is not necessarily what I need. You may need to go into yourself and meditate 100 times a day. And even the same person will not need it the same way all the time. You, in certain circumstances, you need to be meditating and finding all your forces, gathering all your forces continuously certain days. And then other days you may not even think about it. It doesn't mean you don't pray. Because everything you say, if you're living your own life, if you are who you are, and you know who you are, and you live working towards realizing your mission in life, every sound of it out of your mouth is a prayer. Every gesture you make is a prayer. Every dance you dance is a prayer. And when you make love with somebody, you are praying. If you know who you are, and this person knows who they are.
That's right. That's right.
There isn't anything that you do that is not a prayer when you know who you are. When we're looking at life, taking life as if we were, I don't know, leaves being blown in the wind. You don't put any objective. You don't set no objectives. You just sit there and complain. Here's something else we're very good at. We can complain for days. And when you say to somebody, what's the solution? Okay, let's try. Nothing's going to work. But you know, they keep doing this. They're doing this to us. No, don't complain. I don't believe in complaining. Look at the truth for what it is. Face up to it. Oshun teaches us. Love, you know what love is? Are you sitting well? Because I know you all been looking at all this television and this movie and reading all these fine romance novels.
Don't sugarcoat.
Love is knowing your weaknesses, your strength. The weaknesses and strength of your partners, the weaknesses and strength of your enemies. That is love according to Oshun. That is equilibrium. If somebody tells you, oh, I love this brother, look at his little nose. This person don't love you. Person loves your nose, man. You better run. Oh, I love this sister. Her butt is so cute. Man is a butt man. Don't waste your time with him. When there is love, there can never be love when there is no knowledge. Ignorant can't love nothing, not even themselves. Knowledge is the first step to love. I know this brother. I know what he can do. I know his spirit. I love the brother. Yes. And because I love him, and he knows me, he loves me, we can make a plan together. I don't have to become your wife. You love me, I love you. There's something we can do together. Maybe it's going to be something in the revolution. Maybe it's going to be something in business. And maybe it's going to be put our two lives together. But that's not the where we're going to do the loving. It doesn't really matter. I love you, you love me. We're going to do something that's going to benefit the whole. That's when I love you. But if I love your nose and you love my butt and her little feet and her little something, please. This is not going to take anybody anywhere. In Vodouvi, we are taught good is what benefits the collective. The individual exists to contribute to the collective. So when I'm going out, I want to get all the money I can get to get me 2 cars, 5 houses, and jewelry and galore and all of this. And you tell me, I love my people. And I'm going to say, I love my people. And my people are starving to death. Any one of my earrings could feed a child for a couple of years. I'm sorry, that's not true. I do not have a good knowledge of who I am. Because if I have a good knowledge of who I am, I will know that this hungry child is me. So this hungry child cannot stay that way when I'm with 10,000 jewelry all over the place. No, I cannot do it. Before I came, I had prepared a text, the text I delivered yesterday. This text, I prepared it, and since I went back home, I have made it a policy that whenever I'm coming out here or out of the country to talk, my text must be approved by peasants in my country. So after preparing my text, I translate it in our own language, and I go to different places in the country, and I deliver it to groups of people who don't know how to read and write. And I have been shocked at the corrections they have brought to my text. One such correction is a definition of the word success. I had wonderful, I don't know what it is, but I had beautiful words to say what success is. And a peasant, about 72 years old, said, success, that's not that. I said, what do you mean? I mean, I went to school. I should know. I read in big dictionaries. He said, that's not success, sister. What you're describing here is applaud for a particular achievement. That is not success. Success is being who you are in such a complete and stable way that you become the foundation upon which the next generation will feel secure.
Yes, sir.
Success is not what you do. Success is who you are. If you live your life as who you are and who you ought to be, nobody needs to know you. Don't matter you don't go on CNN. It doesn't matter if WBI don't know you exist. You are a very successful person. Another brother asked me, do you have any children? I said, yes. How many? 4. And 2 grands. Where are they? I said where they were. He asked me a number of questions. Did they go to school? What did they do? Blah, 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 blah. This is okay. How many, any of them got arrested? Any of them doing drugs? Any of them smoking? No. Well, you're a successful woman. Because the ones who came after you, their lives are good. That's what your success is. Makes no difference to me how many cars you got, how many houses you got. That is not success. So we need to look inside and establish for ourselves. Don't take other people's standards. White men say, small nose are in, and we all go around walking like this and feeling guilty because our nose breathes real good. You have no problem breathing. That's great. That's what a nose is for. My nose is a problem only if it cannot allow me to do what it is supposed to do. My mouth is a problem if I can't eat, if I can't talk. But the size of it, the shape of it cannot determine, that cannot be a problem for my mouth. Okay? So please, brothers, sisters, go in yourself. I'm sure all of you here have heard enough conferences. You've read enough books. You've seen a lot of things. What you don't have is you have not taken all of this in, kneaded down with your own experience. When it comes out of your mouth, it should not be a quote. Don't go out there and say, oh, Bayyinah Bello said, please. That's not honoring me. I'll be very happy if I hear you say that what comes out of your mouth is not a quote, but a conviction out of your heart through your mouth. An excellent example is Cuba.
That's right. That's
And that's what most of us don't know how to do. Most of us go into a either or. well, I'm against the white man. I don't want anything. I'm going to walk bare feet because the white man made the shoes. I'm going to walk naked because the white man made the clothes. I'm going to sit on the floor because the white man made the chairs. Okay. If you want, that's all right. But there's another way. You could learn from the chair he has made and make your own chair that fits your big behind. You can make your own whatever using the technique. The principle is forever. It's universal. It belongs to nobody. This white man that you're busy giving him credit for everything, he went all around and stole from all of us. Most often he's bringing back things he took from you. He brings it back to you and you say, whoo, he's a genius. No. Yeah. You're not gonna, don't say, I'm not gonna do, I'm not going. No, go. Learn. Study. But don't spit it out like a parakeet. No. Take it in. Knead it down. Make a dough with your own experience, with your own reality. And then when you're gonna speak about it, you're gonna bring out your conviction, your vision, your point of view. According to Dr. So-and-so, please. I know they condition us in the schools because they don't want us to say nothing and say, well, where did you get that information? And they condition you that continuously you got a name. Dr. So-and-so say, Dr. So-and-so say. Dr. So-and-so say a lot of stupid things. Even very brilliant so-and-sos say a lot of stupid things. Because all of us are human. For every portion of intelligent things we say, and we, Bayyinah included. And you would do me a favor and an honor if when you look at what I say, when you read what I write, you say, yeah, I agree with her here. Yeah, that's right. This I feel, that's correct. But this one here, no, there the sister Tegri, she took off. I don't see it. I don't view it that way. I think this way, there you help me. Don't say every word out of her mouth is God's given truth. That's not true. That doesn't exist, this person. So go in. Take all of this, knead it down, make your own, and bring out your thing. I'm always hoping whenever I come before any group, especially when there are younger people here in the group, that one day I hope to sit in the audience and look at somebody who used to come and listen to me and see how this person brings the information they have gathered from all around, bring it inside themselves, and then spit it out, their own conviction, not quotes. This whole quote business is out. Don't tell me what somebody else said. Tell me what you believe, what you're convinced of. And if you speak what you're convinced of, it will make your action, it will give weight to your actions. You will act on what you say. And it will be your conviction acting. And that will give strength to your actions. And our combined action can be a strike or a movement that brings the result that we want. Thank you for your attention. May the force be with you. Your own force.
Thank you very much, sister. Just by way of repeating the announcements, praying. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the question.
Okay. In a very few words, if there is one revolution we could say was run by women, it is the Haitian Revolution. When you take into consideration, and this is not an exaggeration, Toussaint Louverture, who's a main person, main initiator of all of this, most French official who wrote about him continuously said he fought like a woman. But of course he never said why. The reason is very simple. He was taught to fight by women from Dahomey. That's who trained Toussaint on his fighting skills. Jean-Jacques Dessalines was raised by his aunt Toya, an Amazon from Dahomey, who from the time he was a tiny little boy, his aunt continuously told him, "You must do for this land what I could not do for Dahomey." So the two main people in the revolution of Haiti, trained by women militarily. Besides this, from Toussaint Louverture himself, letters that he wrote, he said every troop was made of 1/3 women. 1/3 of every troop was 1/3 of every battalion, if we could say, was made of women. And there was a large percentage of children also. And Toussaint Louverture still explained, as they would go into attack, the first people to enter the battlefield had to be the women. Because they were more flexible, they would crawl on the ground through the bushes and come very close to the enemy. And then they would start making this very special noise they know how to make with their mouth that would sort of confuse the enemy camp. And it was also the women's job to go to the enemy and remove the cannon. You know, in those days, the cannon was it was a very important instrument. As long as the enemy had cannon and you didn't have, you cannot approach the enemy. It was the women and children's job to go to the enemy's camp, render the cannon unusable. And I tell you, sometimes a mother would take her child and throw it in the cannon's mouth, or throw herself in the cannon. When you're talking about slaves who would throw themselves inside the cannon's mouth to make it unoperative, these were women doing this. And once one of us would throw ourselves in and make it inoperative, then the French would not bother with it anymore. Then the others would come in and push it out the way and carry it to our camp. That was the women's job. So without any question, the role of women in the Haitian Revolution is not measurable. Besides, this is a general. We have women like Marie-Jeanne, who was in charge of security. Who gave Jean-Jacques Dessalines security? Marie-Jeanne and her band. She had a troop of female only. And Dessalines said himself, "I never feel as secure as when Marie-Jeanne herself is assuring my security." Marie-Jeanne. Women officers in the army, Lieutenant Pierrette Jolibois, Lieutenant Sanit Belair, Captain Guillaume Charlot, lots of women. So there was that whole period, revolutionary period, up until Dessalines' death, even into Christophe's rule, women run all kinds of things. The first woman minister of treasure, the first person minister of treasure in Haiti, in free Haiti, was a woman, Afemi Dagui. The minister for finance was a woman. The Dessalines government had a lot of women, and Christophe's government had women. It's after Christophe, with the first mulatto who became president, Pétion, that things turn around. He passed a decree saying that it is forbidden to ask of women, to give to women tasks that make too much demand on their mental and physical capacities. So therefore, from this point on, women are not allowed in a public public, yeah. Okay? So there's no question about the role of women in Haiti's war. And if I go even further back, with the Arawaks, the first people on the island, there were 5 rulers at the time of the arrival of the criminals from Europe. And one woman among them, Anakauna. Of the 5 rulers, she's the one who lasted longer, who fought them longer, and they were unable to capture her militarily. And that's why Ovando wrote to Spain and said, he has tried everything militarily to capture this woman, impossible. He must be allowed to use ruse. And that's how they pretended they wanted a peace treaty, and then in the peace treaty, when she went for the peace treaty, and they grabbed her, set fire, and that's, you know, peace treaties we know all about. We should know all about them by now. Okay? So there is no doubt about the Haitian. But besides Haiti, we need to know all of our history. We are not, I don't know about you, but me, yes, I live in Haiti. I was born in Haiti. Haiti is my country. I have a Haitian passport. But when I'm in Nigeria, I'm Nigerian. When I'm in New York, I'm a Black American. When I'm in Jamaica, I'm Jamaican. The earth is mine. That's my land. And I must know my history wherever, in every corner where I am. It's important for us to know when we're talking about women in history, we must know about the 3 mamas in St. Thomas, who in the 17th century liberated the islands militarily from the Dutch. And the island stayed free for more than 9 years. They run the island before British, Dutch, and German put together to put these women down. We must know these things. We must know women liberation didn't start in 1960 when we started burning bras. Makeda in Ethiopia, in Saba, she was a woman ruler who came after 3,000 years of uninterrupted rule by women. In her country, they could not imagine that a man could rule a country because they felt, first of all, they hadn't seen it. They've always known a woman ruling the country. And second, they felt with the natural talents of women for details, men did not have what it takes to run a country. That's why it was the business of woman. Yes, it's very, logical that the way they viewed these things. Now, so we have, if we take Dahomey with a female army and a male army, the male army is in the business of protecting the king and the nation and making expansion. The male army's job was the day-to-day policing of the population and fighting defense. Each had their own role. But in all of our societies, all over Africa, there has never been this concept that women can't and women don't, or women are less than. No. We are different. We have to know our own forces. Why 2 armies? Very simple. Women don't have their strength same places or in the same way as men. Men will be stronger, easily develop strength from the upper body. Women, their strength is more easily developed from the lower body. So, if I become a policewoman in today's police force, they're going to teach me to fight like a man. I'm never going to be equal to any man on that police force. I cannot be. Because the force they're asking me, the part that they're asking me to put into play, are not the ones that are natural to me as a woman. I can be equal or better to any men when I know how to fight as women do, naturally. Not learning to fight as a man. It's like you ask a dog to be like a cat. Okay? So that's why it is, we've always seen in African traditional societies, women are equal to men, but each have their own role. They have their times where they must be separate. The women must get together to get certain things done. The men get together to get other things done. And then there are specific places where we're going to come together to do a specific thing. Okay? But it doesn't mean separate. But the white men usually say, you see? Yeah, women one side, men the other. Oh, that's racism. No, they have another word for it. Sexism. Thank you. Please, let's not get into this kind of crap. Question.
What is the black community doing? Can you give us an update?
I'm sorry. Brother Looney asked me to show you. We have 2 pamphlets in the back. 2 lectures that I've given. This is the most recent, the one I gave yesterday. The one that I was aided by farmers in my country to write. And they are available in the back, $5 each.
Can you give us an update on the struggle in Haiti and
Haiti, thank you.
I'm sorry. And give us an update on what is the black community doing, applying pressure for Francois to go back to face trial in Haiti.
Oh, there is no such thing as far as I know.
No?
There is nobody really working at in this. People have seen, first of all, people are extremely disappointed.
Back home?
Back home. Extremely disappointed. Kept hungry, very hungry. When you're hungry, you can't think right. There are a lot of things that you cannot do. Without jobs, stress. Even your sister right here came in as a ball of nerves. Was not very certain that she would make it to the plane a couple of days ago. So, you're seeing a refreshed Bayyinah. If you'd seen me Thursday night, you probably wouldn't have recognized me. So, but there isn't much of a thing. There's a lot of talk. But listen, it is very difficult when a few things that we lived very recently. When the U.S. went in, they claimed this whole occupation was to stop the coup, arrest the people who are doing this, and bring justice and all this other crap. Okay, they've gone in, stopped the coup. Okay, let's say yes, it stopped. Who did they arrest? Which big leader? Did they arrest Sheroes? No. Gave him $80 million to go enjoy himself away from the country. In Panama or something like that. Michel Francois, living well, someplace, Colombia or wherever. B&B, same thing. Constant, proofs about the killing that this man has done, even on television. There is no, you almost don't need a court to judge the man. You know what happened to him, right? So why is somebody going to be interested in putting pressure on the American government to bring Michel Francois to justice? All the documents that they that they found from the FRAP office. FRAP was the official force organization which was out there slaughtering people by thousands, paid by the United States of America. Okay. Once they take the documents, what did they do with them? The U.S. took the documents for observation. And upon close observation, they decided to black out certain parts of the documents and to return them to the Haitian government after much trouble, many months, only after they had blocked out almost 70% of the text. What is this? And you want somebody to be interested in putting pressure? No. No. There isn't much going on at home on this. On the outside, there are a couple of lawyers, probably it's good business or nice PR to say that they're working on this thing, but probably nothing that will end up anywhere. Probably more media thing than anything else. Question. You're welcome.
Thank you for a wonderful lecture.
Thank you, sister.
I would like to know, 21st century is upon us. Should we arm ourselves? I think the 21st century is going to be very critical. There's going to be a lot of different changes going on around in America and abroad.
Do you think 21st century is anything different from the 20th century? Or the 18th or the 19th?
No.
For us? Oh. I don't think we have to have things like the 21st century. You know, hey, the centuries have always come and gone. And anyway, 21st century is by his calculations. Yeah. What do I know? For all I know, my people have been here maybe for 40,000 years. So I'm not into no 21st century, you know. Hey, that's not my problem, 21st century. But I do believe that we need to be serious about changing the conditions we're in. And as black people, we need to get serious about looking at ourselves, speaking the truth to ourselves, knowing ourselves, loving ourselves, respecting ourselves, and living defensively. You must live, love yourself, knowing that nobody else does. You must love yourself. If the whole world say whatever they want. You see, the trouble with the whole politics will have no value really for us if it wasn't for the fact these people are always up front and they represent us. Every time we talk about a Jean-Claude Duvalier or Mobutu or any other jerk that they created, which is not us. They created their monsters. They fed them, entertained them, protected them for as long as they could. And then in the end, they take them and put them up front. Oh, look, another black nigger. See how they are? Here's what they did. Here's this, here's that. They are attacking us every time. ABC has a special on how wicked this or that black leader was. It is really about us. It's to make us weak, to make us not trust each other, to make us not be able to have a leader that you will put all your backing behind and go forward with. It's a well-designed program. You have to see through that. It doesn't mean they didn't do the crimes that they are accused of. Yes, they did. But they did it with U.S., France, England's plan, U.S., France, England's weapons, U.S., France, England's money, clothing, everything. Mobutu robbed Zaire. But where did he spend the money? In France, in Switzerland, in Belgium, in the United States. All the property he bought is where? In their place. So who's going to benefit from the raping that Mobutu did? Not you, not me, not the average man from Zaire or ex-Zaire today. No. But the white man is a beneficiary all the time. Every time you hear a dictator someplace, know that it was somebody working for them, working against you. We don't want to sit and parade this. That's not our best picture. That's our picture, though. I cannot deny Mobutu is me. Jean-Claude Duvalier is me. I cannot deny it. I must face up to that. Because as long as I say, well, it's Duvalier, one day if I'm placed in the same position, I will find myself doing exactly the same thing while I'm blaming Duvalier. No, I must know the facts, and I must protect myself. But for my children, I don't need to constantly talk about Duvalier and Mobutu and all this other crap. What is important is that we know they were forged by him. They are his constructions, his fabrications, and that's not the way for me to live. And I must teach myself every day to love me, because if I love me, I will have to love you. If I love me, I cannot not love him, because he is me and I am him. You are me and I am you. I must love and protect you. And for our children, we must put our best forward. That's why it's important for history to find the great things that our people did in the past and put that in front of our children, so they have an image of great black women, great black men, so they can aspire to be. Not constantly put in front of them the Duvaliers and the Mobutus. Those are the white man's trash. He can keep them, put them in his own history books. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of trash written about it. It's what they write about it is usually the Hollywood version. You know, stick the pin in the doll, and somebody has a stomach pain, and, you know, whole bunch of nonsense. I don't say that these things cannot happen, okay? But the way it's presented, it's not presented with any way that you can understand what's going on. You could do anyone who is truly into himself and who has the forces that are ours, that live in us. I don't have to stick a pin in a doll to give you a stomach pain. If you have treated unjustly, I can sit anywhere, meditate, and deal with you. We all have this power. It's not a special power. It's that most of us don't know how to tap within and deal with this. Sound is energy. With energy, you create matter. I'm sure you've seen children people call Porky. This is my little Porky. Porky, come here. Porky, da da da. Go to your mommy, Porky. What do those children look like? They're not very attractive. But the mothers don't understand. When they took this 3-month-old baby and they started calling it Porky, 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 they created the pig that they don't like today. Because with your words, words are sounds, sounds are energy. We call ourselves niggas. We call ourselves all kind of trash that this jerk first gave us. And then, you know, with all the adjectives, you know, niggas are. We say it continuously. We are reproducing it continuously. We need to stop. You don't agree with what a brother is doing? I don't agree with what this brother is. You don't need to give him no name. You don't need to put all kinds of negative adjectives on him, because whether you know it or not, the force is in you and it works. That's a science. Okay? Now, Vodouvi has established the different principles. The first principle is identifying who you are. If you don't know who you are, you'll never make the right choices for yourself. You will never be content and at peace with yourself. If you're not at peace with yourself, you can't be a good fighter. You'll be too troubled. You'll be too confused. You are easily deterred. You come here with good intention. Yeah, I want to be part of the fight. I'm going to join the brothers. And you come in. But it takes almost nothing. A bean pie. and you're going to sell out everybody. It's not your fault. You just don't know who you are. The basic work was not done. Okay? So start to work. Anybody who starts learning themselves will develop all the forces, the power, the puissance that is in us. Then you are qualified to join into, to take a partner, to join with groups, to do anything. But as we stand right now, we're not qualified. If we don't know who we are, we don't know ourselves, not even materially. Again, learning from the peasants. One peasant asked me, "Did you pee this morning when you got up?" And I thought, what kind of question is this? Boy, see, this man didn't go to school. I say, "Yes, I did." "What color was it?" "What you mean, what color was it?" "Color, regular color." Said, "You see, knowledge of self begin by knowing your body. What goes in and what goes out. What goes out is an indication as to the state of your health. If you do not know the natural color of what you eliminate, how can you know when you're not well? Because that's the first indication. If you have a fever, the color of your urine will change. If you have stomach problems, before your stomach starts to hurt, before you do this, before you do that, the color will change. You don't need a doctor to tell you you have gas. The minute you go, if it doesn't go to the bottom of the bowl, it stays up there and float, it's obvious. You have major gas problem. And you must know what to eat and what to drink that will eliminate the level of acid in your digestive tract. But if you get up from there as if that's not you, yes, we must deal with our everyday reality. So get into knowing our body. Your eyes, they change color all the time. You don't need to wait until they're red, bright red, and everybody's saying, "What's wrong with your eyes, child?" before you're going to do something about it. Your gums, they tell you a bunch of things about yourself. Okay? So let's love ourselves, know ourselves. Look at yourself. Don't hide it. Your gray hair, just flaunt it, baby. Don't paint it. These are facts of life. Accept yourself. Okay? As I said, often people, at home, it's the in thing. Nobody has gray hair. I'm one of those weird things from outer space. And when people say, "Well, why don't you do something?" I mean, you're very pretty, Bayyinah, but if you would just, and sometimes the word can't quite come out. I said, "You see, I have earned every single white hair you see on my head on the battlefield. There is no way I'm going to get rid of one of them." So accept ourselves. Love, that's loving. Knowing self, that's loving. When you know self, there is no limit as what you can do. L'Ouverture was a legba. Dessalines was an ogu. Two characters who shouldn't get along because they're so different. Dessalines, the ogu, is always ready to go. He's always in a hurry. He's always ready to move. Legba has 1,000 words to say something that could be saying 3 words. And he will, when Legba speaks, we all in this room, we could be fighting. We fight, we don't agree, I don't agree with him, he don't agree with him, nobody agrees. Legba comes in and speaks, we all agree with Legba. Because the way he said what he said, we each found what we wanted out of what he said. That's one of his talents. So I must, if Ogun want to crush Legba and take over where Legba is, the land, he will fail in what he's going to do, because the space would not have been prepared, because Legba's job, Legba's talent is there to prepare the road for Ogun. Ogun must wait his turn, but you must know who you are. You must know who you are. There isn't a knowledge greater than the knowledge of self. No, nowhere. The tree makes a beautiful mango. The mango tree will make beautiful mangoes. The better that tree knows the reason I exist is to make mangoes. The beautiful flower knows that it has come, even if it's only for one day. If you're a gorgeous flower, but it's only, you said, well, it only lasted a day. That's all it was meant to be. It only lasted 6 hours. That's all it was. It came here to be this beautiful thing for 6 hours. That's it. And it accepts this. It doesn't wish to last 1 minute longer. We must do the same thing. Some of us in this, thank you, in this battle, we are only here to speak one word. You only came into existence to go, hey, excuse me. Crispus Attucks. What do you know about Crispus Attucks?
First fool to die for some crack.
All right, that doesn't matter. Don't call my brother a fool, I'm sorry. All right. What did he do?
Threw some rocks and some crackers and got shot.
All right. That's all he existed for. He did his job. That's why 200 years later you're talking about him. You see? He did the one thing he came to do. He did it, and he was gone. A 15-minute flower. But yet, 200 years later, here we are. Oh yeah, Crispus Attucks. Crispus Attucks. You don't know what your 30-second or whatever it is, your mission is. Mission doesn't mean I have to be the leader of blah, blah, blah and last 150 years. No. Right now, we have a situation in Ghana. Jerry Rawlings has been the president of Ghana for a number of years. I don't remember anymore. 15, 17 now? Okay. Okay. Has done a beautiful job. Wonderful things in Ghana. But you know why he's going to fail? He's not going to know when it's time to go. And what will happen? At the end, everything wonderful he did will no longer be seen, will no longer be appreciated. And people will see him as just another military man who took power and did all the crap that everybody else did. And it's not true. And it's too bad. Jean-Bertrand Aristide, he's a Legba. Did a beautiful job, but he didn't know. He should have died and not returned. Yes. He wants more time. Your time is over. You have done your job. You raised the dead, 7 million dead people. You made them believe. Then you should die and live forever in their hearts. Yes, and yet tomorrow we will hear all kinds of terrible things about him. And that's too bad, because that would be bad for us. We must know ourselves and know ourselves well enough to know when our time is up. Toussaint Louverture was a great man and a wonderful Legba. because he knew everybody came and tell him, that's a trap. The white man is going to get you. He said, I got to go anyway. He went. Yes, they grabbed him. Yes, they carried him to France. Yes, they locked him up in jail. Yes, they opened off the roof and let the snow come in and eat the man alive. But he had done his job. And he left a proper space for Ogun to come in and finish the job. We must know when to go. We must know when to come. When you know yourself, you cannot try to buy more time. Because what is more time for you is bad for the collective. Because the good is what is good for us all, not what is good for me. And when I get what I want, then I put all of us in a mess. So, learn who you are. Concentrate. Look at yourself. Face up to yourself. And you will see, you will not have to go into this books and that book and this person. A lot of things. And if there's one book to guide you as far as Vodouvi is concerned, Divine Horsemen is the only worthwhile book in English. All the rest is Hollywood trash by Maya Deren. Divine Horsemen by Maya Deren. There's the book and there's the video. Divine Horsemen.
Where could you get it?
There's a place called GDN. I forget the name of the. On Merrick Boulevard. In Queens.
We probably got the story. D&J.
Okay. All right.
Jersey, like Indian bookstore or?
I don't know. Maybe also Head Start in Brooklyn. Huh?
Local community respond to the news of the brother Abner Louima when they heard. And what was the response? Because I understand they had some Haitian policemen from the New York City police force who were actually training the local forces. And of course, they had to bring them back and order. What was the local reaction?
Bad news in Haiti?
Blackout, whiteout.
Was no news in Haiti. When it finally came out, I called so many stations at home, telling them, what is this? I'm listening to the news and you're not even mentioning Louima? Don't you know? Well, yeah, it seems that we have something on that. Well, probably tomorrow's news, something. Anyway, I think it was something like at least 4 days after everything had gone, that one or two stations timidly announced that a brother who might be Haitian was brutalized by New York City police. Okay? It was mostly through people who knew about it, knew from people calling their families, and you know, the news came like this. But no, nothing major. But I could tell you on the other hand, we had to tolerate hours and hours of Lady Diana died.
The royal leader. The royal leader.
Please.
Don't forget the song.
Yes, sir.
The Million Man March, and I'd like to know how you think that they responded to the Women's Million Man March. Or did it reach them? Did it have an effect, or a profound effect on them?
No. Let me tell you, we are very advanced in Haiti. We're not into all that crap, Million Man March and all this other stuff, the black this and black that. Yeah? We're very advanced. We're into, right now there's a station, a private station in Haiti that is playing Playboy Station. We get special programs on lesbian something night or whatever it was, you know, that's the kind of crap. The national TV, the new director of the national TV has announced in big pomp that he's going to really revamp the station. We're going to have wonderful things. Very soon we'll start having Dynasty, we'll start having, I don't know, All My Children or whatever. That's what's happening. Yeah. The person who is informed is not informed from, anyway, right now, let me tell you, from in the past 18 months, Haiti we had about 14 radio stations. Between when I first went home and now, 18 months later, we now have 52 radio stations. With the 52 radio stations, you probably cannot find 6 stations where they speak Haitian. When you turn on the radio, if you don't want to hear American music, you're just not gonna hear music. Okay? These are facts. So, excuse me? Well, they do regularly, but you see, even that's not the solution. The problem is not the building. See, after we burn it down, we still have to buy, to send outside, to import the iron, the cement, everything you need to rebuild. Then you have all this rubble there for a long time that can hurt children, that is eyesore, everything you want. Not the solution. Problem is you gotta get up here and implode it from inside. We have to stop the burning down. We do this, Haiti is very, very quick. Haitians are good and quick at this. Burn things down. We did a lot of burning after Duvalier, before we would bring Duvalier down, and after he left, we did a whole bunch of burning and destruction. Didn't bring us to nothing better. We had Nanfi. After bring down Nanfi, we did a lot of burning and killing again. Didn't bring us no place. We had Avril. After Avril, we did more burning and killing. Brought us nowhere. And even when we got somebody who was someone who had the aspirations of the people in him, they snatched him away. We were not smart enough to put the right structure around him to keep him in. We got to look at facts. We can't always blame somebody else, or we'll never be stronger. We must look at what we do. Yes, that's true. Washington organized the coup. Washington took the president out. Washington organized the 3 years of slaughtering in order to bring the people to their knees so they could come in with their occupation. But what was our plan? What plan did we have? Should we not have known that a president who speaks like Jean-Bertrand Aristide would be in total danger continuously every second of his life? Shouldn't we not have known that? What plan did we have to protect him? None. What plan did we have to protect his ideas? None. What plan did we have that if he was taken out of the country, we would still continue to govern underground? Nothing. So, you have no plan, I have a plan, my plan will succeed. Okay? And he is working so well. Bring him out, transform, retrain, need, I don't know, made the new version, brought the new version back, we clap, wonderful, he's back. He can't speak like he used to. He don't act like he used to. We happy. He's here. No. We must have a plan. People who know themselves always have a plan. You have a plan, and you have an alternate plan to this plan, and you have an alternate plan to your alternate plan. That's how people who know themselves act. But if we're just a leaf, a dead leaf out there, then the wind blows us anywhere it wants to, and then we're always surprised and unhappy to where we end up. That's where we at now. We gotta be for real. We gotta take everything serious. My children, today, all three of my boys have a master's degree. They're all running their lives. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for one of them, I wouldn't be here today because I didn't have the money to buy the ticket. Okay. But these children spent almost 2 years without going to school. When I didn't feel the schools in the neighborhood could do what I want for my children, I kept them home. But when I kept them home, I had to go to work. And when I come home, I had to be a teacher in the house for 3 or 4 hours to 4 brats. 4 wild ones. Because 4 children spending all day in the house by themselves. Okay? But almost 2 years, I kept them. And people were very furious with me. Oh, can you do this? You can da-da-da-da-da. Everybody finished school. Everybody did their lives. The 2 years out of school was probably the best 2 years for them. Okay? I always make it my business not to let somebody else bring my children into learning to read. Of course, I have an advantage. I'm a teacher. So I believe learning to read and toilet training is the same thing. Because the way you initiate the child's education is vital to everything that will happen to him later. So I train them, teach them how to read, just as I start doing the toilet training. They learn to read. And all fundamental things they'll know at home first. Must educate our children. We must.
Thank you. I dropped that crazy now.
When they're asking for toys, Christmas gifts, I have never bought a Christmas gift for any of my children. When they started raising havoc on the house, well, mommy, everybody else has da-da-da-da. Because at a certain age, no matter how you start them young, at a certain age, they want to be like everybody else. So they'll start putting pressure on you. Say, okay. You want to know what Christmas is all about? Say, well, everybody does it, mommy. Even if, we know there's no, but, okay. We're going to give each one of you $40. We're going to go to the store couple of days before Christmas. And you will be free to buy whatever you want for your $40. But I'm going to tell you, if you're smart, you're not going to spend your money. You're going to wait after, and we're going to come back to the same store, and you're going to see how much you can buy for your $40. I never had any more complaint about no Christmas. It's true. We must take seriously. You see, if we come to 1,000 conference, to all kinds of places and listen to all kinds of things, then tomorrow we go home and do business as usual, it will never have any value. It is up to us to validate the knowledge that we gain. My second son got married last year, last October. He went out with this girl for 8 years or 9 years, for a long time, all through high school, I think, and all of college and whatnot, long time. The girl wanted to get married. My son wasn't all this, and we talked. And every time I talk about it, it says, only problem, Mommy, I mean, after everything, I know she's sort of a black woman, but she's kind of light, and her hair is not like yours. I had to have a lot of talks with my son. Make him understand. We're not going to get into how kinky your hair is, what degree of blackness your skin is. Is she a black woman or not? She is. If she's a black woman and she believes in Africanness and she is ready to train your children into what you've been raised into, what's your problem? But I understand. My son has been raised in such a way, he loved the girl. He loves the girl. But he hesitated because somewhere there was a confusion as to she wasn't dark enough, she wasn't this enough, she wasn't to him, as he would say, he says, well, I imagine, for all my life, Mommy, you've said, I always said I have a favorite child. This is my favorite son, Sidi. And people would say, you shouldn't say that. No mother should have a favorite. I say, yes, I do have a favorite child. Well, why do you say that? He says, he's the darkest. So he's the one who have the most problem with this society. So he's got to have more love than anybody else. That's my favorite child. So then he felt, I have always benefited from all this love, knowing that you love me because I was the darkest. How can I today turn around and love a woman that is not as dark as me? And I had to work again, do the education again to make him understand, no, we're not going to measure, And this girl, life would have it, she is light to my son, but she's the darkest in her family. And she has suffered from being the darkest among the children of her parents. We have to deal with these things. Those are realities. That is part of the education we women are responsible for. We black women have a duty to raise our children and raise our would-be husbands. We must raise them. Because if you are unaware, African conscious woman, his mother wasn't. So you don't expect the brother to have picked it up like this. So we have to see our role as educator. It's fundamental. We must take, and if anything, when things go havoc in our communities, sisters, I have news for you. You're guilty. The men are unlivable. Who raised them? You and I did. They're jerks. Who raised them? You and I did. They're wife beaters. Who raised them? You and I did. So if we want to save our community, we want to save the collective, we have a duty to educate our would-be partners. And we can't mix. We are African on one side on certain things, and then on the other things, we the white as snow. Can't go that way.
That's right. That's right. It's either this or that.
And there are lots of things about traditional African life and society that most of us can't bear to hear. Jean-Jacques Dessalines when he met Marie-Claire Heureuse, Félicité, Bonheur, Dessalines, who should become his wife, she posed 4 conditions in order for her to become his wife. He was shocked. When he asked her to marry him, here he is, Général de Division, in all his brilliant uniforms of the French army, with all his, And he asked this woman who's nobody to marry him. She says, no, I don't think I want to get married. What you mean? I'm the future liberator of this country. I say, yeah, but I don't want to get married. I don't think I want to get married. I have a mission in my life. I want to do this, 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 this. Well, if you become my wife, you'll have more means to do this. He says, well, I don't think you could agree to the conditions I would want in order to marry. Well, tell me. Number 1, you have a lot of children in this country. You would have to recognize each and every one of them. That was her first condition. So you can't be a liberator and have bastards running all over the place. Number 2, there are women who have children for you. They can hardly survive. You earning nice salary, they're entitled to a better life. He says, well, when we're married, that would mean you will have less. She say, yes, but that would mean we will have more. The last condition she posed, she says, your enemies cannot be automatically my enemies. He was furious. What's wrong with you? I'm running a revolutionary war, and you think I'm going to walk into my house one day and find my enemy sitting in the living room? She said, well, this may happen, but I cannot. Because you say this is your enemy, that I have to say it's mine. No. If there's a good reason for me to talk to this person, who knows? I may have to negotiate between you and him. I can't give up in advance all my power and strength because I'm your wife. This is 1801, this woman was talking like that. And then they want to talk to me about some woman liberation of 1970 or something. I'm sorry, I have great models as to what a woman is, because I've studied my history. And I strive each day to know myself. In the end, he agreed to all the conditions, recognized all the children. And among his children, there were 4 who no longer had a mother. She said, that's okay. I will recognize them with you. Those will be our 4 children. So you see, the African mind, an African woman doesn't view things like a Western woman. We cannot think in terms of, with my children, if he takes those children, and there is no those children. All these children are our children. And if I want the welfare of anybody, I want the welfare of every child. That's my tomorrow. That's my guarantee into the future. And when I know this, it makes no difference. If I've done my job, the way I'm living today in Haiti, any day you could hear, Bayyinah is dead, 2 bullets, or whatever. It's okay. I have never, one day, when I could not do what I'm supposed to do. I know that I am born to teach. And I didn't learn it because I went to the man's school. I was a teacher when I was a child at home. At 6, I played teacher. At 9, I taught my grandmother, who was making us recite our lessons and holding the book upside down. I taught her how to read. I always have been a teacher. That's why when somebody tells me, I want you to be the minister of blah, 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 I said, no, that's not my profession. I'm a teacher. And you know, sometimes presidents don't like you to tell them no. So for something as simple as that, you could be dead. But that's okay. I am a teacher. And I'm not going to be something somebody else wants me to be. And that's what you need to do. Know who you are and stand your ground. Because you know how to speak, don't make of you a politician. You need to know how to dance in mud and in feces to be a good politician. I'm not. So identify who you are. Hold on to it. Every day, go back in. Look for more of your strength. Learn how to use it better. Sharpen your skills of knowing and loving self. And our nation will be saved. Great government is made by people who know who they are. Bad government is not a bad somebody, you know, Mobutu is guilty, this one is guilty. No. The nonsense that goes on in our countries goes on because none of us know who we are. None of the leaders know who they are. The day you have somebody who knows who he is, look at Castro. Been wearing this uniform for 30 some odd years. Man, he knows who he is. He has no qualms about it. No. The world is against him. His country progresses. Attempts on his life on a daily basis. Without knowing, he survives. Because he knows who he is. That's right. Once you know who you are, your mission is clear. Okay? So know who you are, so you don't have to go. One day I'm a communist, I'm a capitalist, I'm a communist, but I gotta have a nice car. I'm into Jesus. Jesus, please, Lord, give me a big, big house. No, that's not a Jesus. You're a capitalist. When a priest or pastor is on the television telling you, look how well he's doing because he's got 10,000 diamond rings here and da-da-da-da-da, that's not a priest. That's a capitalist. He just don't know it. But he's in the business of selling Jesus. That's how it's done. Thank you very much. Oh, I'm sorry. Sister has a question. From Ifa. Mm-hmm.
I believe in most of the things you say. You still have the African mind in you. So even though we are going here also, and I want to make comments about the Vodouvi. Because when you mentioned Vodouvi is Africa, also the gentleman there asks you how can he learn about Vodouvi, right? Mm-hmm. So he could practice it with his family, him and his family also. We told him to go and buy a book also. I want to assure you all here, because I'm a Igbo woman, you never buy a book written by any human, whether white, blue, or green, to study Vodouvi. When you want to learn about Vodouvi, you go to the source. Where is the source? Africa. You go to this thing, peasant or whatever, the bushman, they teach you. The real good man will never write anything to you. In Africa, whatever we are taught is here. Your mind. Your mind is you. So, you never, whatever anything anybody tells you to go and buy a book or so, for you to study about Vodouvi, anything you buy is nothing but a trash. If you have your money, you save your money. Any day you ask questions. For you to go to another country, you have to be able to ask questions so you know where they will lead you. They guide you to the real people, because there's a lot of fakes out there. and they will teach you how to practice voodoo. They never go to any human to buy any book or whatever saying you are practicing voodoo, because you could be mistaught and voodoo will kill you. You have to learn, you have to be guided. Anything voodoo. There's nothing bad about voodoo, but when you mispractice it, you will become so bad and you won't forget. Thank you.
Thank you. I will make one difference for you, one rectification for you. I said first, you may purchase this book that will give you some ideas, all right? But not that the book would teach anyone. The book cannot teach anything, that because what we are Vodouvi. Okay? Vodouvi is simply a conscious that the spirit is present. So in order to be, you cannot learn that in a book. But a book can guide someone who has no knowledge, you see, until they can go in and find within themselves. Listen, Africa is everywhere Africans are.
All these gods that you mentioned, even you can tell because these are Yoruba gods. You have to know how to worship them, practice them, and so on. There's things as a young person that my grandmother know, I don't know. And there's things they want me to know, you know, that they should tell me, and the things that they don't want me to know, I will know. When you say Ogun, you say voodoo here, that's the western part of your listen. What is voodoo? I don't know. That's
inside you. Everything is in you. Everything is in you. Certainly, you can learn from, Brother Inuni is asking me again to remind you, the texts are in the back, okay? In fact, there also you can get some information about it, okay? So, but these, excuse me, never can anyone learn anything of spirit in a book. That is, you know, and no one, you know, that's not, you know, everything we've said here would make you understand that, okay? A book can guide you, give you certain elements for learning, certain elements to initiate you into understanding something. But only experience in the end is going to be what you need, actually, okay? But a book can give you an idea. I want to go to Nigeria, I can buy a book written by anybody. It will teach me Nigeria is a country in West Africa, it has this city, that city, da-da-da-da. It gives me, but I don't know Nigeria for that, right? I could see a map, I could see pictures. I don't know Nigeria. But once I go to Nigeria, I experience Nigeria, okay? And the same is true for anything. No knowledge is ever really acquired from a book, but a book can be a guide to initiate you to anything. All right? Thank you. Most of all, the book that I mentioned, as I said, I think I told you, is the only thing written in English that I would recommend. There are lots of things, but so much poison and so much Hollywood simagry in it that I would never mention them. All right, I do have a small bibliography in the back of this text. Then you have the name of the authors. Okay, and it says, buy it so you know. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my sister. See you next week.
Yes. Come back next week.
Oh,